Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we are on our 3-star count. For those of you who do not know what this 3-star count is about, it is where we only use 3-star monsters or lower. So we do not use 4 stars or 5 stars. There is also another special rule where we cannot use light dark units. So units like Fraun, Lauren, or Crow, or Beladion, the light Vagabond Darien, so on and so forth. We cannot use those units either, which have made this run very interesting because B-10, the teams have totally changed. Dragons, the teams have totally changed. It is quite the experience. Frustrating, but interesting, because it makes me feel like I'm smart, because we are slowly jumping over hurdles. And plus we get to use units that you don't ever really typically use. Nangrim probably being one of those units. So, how exactly are we going to beat every part of the game, especially what we're currently trying to beat, Dragons B-10. So, believe it or not, we are completing Dragons B-10. While that is one of the main focuses of the video, it is not the big thing about the video. So, for those of you who do not know what Dragons is, or how to beat it, like you've just not, gone far enough in the game, a quick summary is the left tower does dots and applies dots to all allies, and the boss itself does damage or increased damage to units that are under harmful effects. Now, this is a bad thing because he can nuke you. Well, you're like, okay, then just prevent the boss from moving. Well, that's where the right tower comes in. The right tower will cleanse the boss of all debuffs and then place immunity on it, which will prevent you from placing debuffs and doing all this big damage. As you can see, the boss is just being a little annoying son of a bitch. But now you have to deal with the towers, because now the towers are a big vital part of this boss. So how do you beat it? So if you attempt to take out the right tower, if you're like, okay, then just aim for the right tower. If you destroy the right tower, the boss will counterattack. And more often than not, more likely, he will kill one of your units. Which, when you're talking about any normal team, it's just like you kill someone's Verd, you're getting turns out less and less, and that can be very scary. Kill a Fraun, or whatever, the healer. I already don't even have to mention the healers being gone. Lauren is the attack bar reducer. It's like, it's a very big deal. Now with this account, since we don't have Verd to push turns or anything, it's kind of much more difficult to beat this boss. But the way we're beating it is by destroying that right tower. Now, when we take out the right tower, the tower cannot cleanse or place immunity on the boss. And while we do have to suffer a little bit of the tower of the boss's attacks, we can hold it off by buffing our team up with tons of defense buffs and all that stuff. And not only that, thanks to Lulu, we have tons of immunities and heals to prevent those dots from doing big damage to us. So, when we take out the right tower, he does kill one of our units. Now, thankfully, I've observed myself losing enough times to know that Nangrim and Spectra are the ones who do the biggest amounts of damage. See, Spectra could kill that tower, or Nangrim can kill that tower. But if one does, the run doesn't necessarily end. So, we'll see here that one of them will kill. In a second, we will see. And if they do kill, the other one is still there to do damage. And thanks to the kits of Megan, Lulu, and Vigor, we can continue to prevent the boss from doing too much. So we saw Spectre just took like 100k in damage. So once that happened, Megan came in and removed the boss's beneficial effects. Lulu has the heals. Vigor can come in with the defense break and his own heals and the attack speed up, so we're getting tons of turns. And then if Nangrim is left, he will place branding and do a ton of damage. If Spectre is left, he will slow the boss, and he has his second skill, which does damage based off of the enemy's max HP. So he does big damage. So while is, I think it's pretty slow. It's 2 minutes and something seconds, but it's consistent. They do it. They haven't lost yet. So while it's not the minute timer that you see at the bottom, that was right here, it's still pretty fast. But this doesn't work on B-12. It worked once on B-12, but it didn't work like 1,000 times. So I beat B-12, but I barely beat it. And that was with 30 minutes, or with 3 minutes, my bad, not 30 minutes. So how are we going to beat B-12 if this is not going to work in B-12? Well, I'll tell you. This is how we're going to beat Dragons B-12. So you got to hear me out on this one. Because this is going to be a long shot, especially with how much work is going to be needed to actually build these guys, or build this team. It's going to be a long time. But if we can do it, I'm going to say I'm a genius. I'm talking about Walter White, Heisenberg, 99% purity type shit on this. So, hear me out. Sath, Double Hemos, Tattoo, and Lulu and friends. So, let me play out the scene for you. We get to the dragon's room, right? That shouldn't be a problem. The wave clear should be really easy, again, considering that he has an AoE second skill, and they have AoE second skills that places dots. And when they're second awakened, this 80% chance disappears. It becomes a 100% chance. It doesn't even tell you like the chance. It's just 100%, right? So they get to the boss room. Assuming that they all just use skill 1 for some reason, that'll be 3 applications of dots, 2 of which last for 2 turns, and 1 of which I'm assuming lasts for 1 turn. I can't remember. Yeah, so that'll happen. That, will increase the damage. If Tattoo takes her turn and does Incinerate, that itself will do 50% of the tower's HP. Because of Sath's passive where it increases by 10%. And then, yeah, it's 50% if you do that math. If you know how this works, right? So, but if she doesn't and she places dots herself, that also works. Or if they don't just have the worst case scenario where they're all using skill 1, they can play skill 2, and that in of itself will just be more and more damage, more turns, and all that. So they kill the tower. Let's say they kill the tower, because that's what we're going to be aiming for, is the tower first. We go for the dragon. Let's say for some reason the dragon has immunity. They have a strip. They have a strip on skill 3. And they decrease the attack speed for 3 turns. And then they can go in and do their dots. And if you're like, oh, but they're going to die before they can even get all those off, Lulu cleanses and heals. The Lulu's got my back. And if for some reason we can't get the Lulus to work, if we do it with this team and it somehow works, or it almost works, but it's just like they needed a little bit more, like they needed the strip and they just couldn't strip, that's where this guy comes in. When he's 2A'd, let's go look at his 2A. He removes all harmful effects granted on allies, and then uses his first skill randomly. It's randomly activated in proportion to the number of harmful effects removed, up to 5 times. So we're definitely going to have there's going to be continuous damage on us. So he's going to cleanse all of that and then use skill 1. Where skill 1, he can remove 1 beneficial effect granted on the target with a 75% chance, and recovers HP of the ally with the lowest HP ratio by 35% when it's fully skilled up. So 5 attacks with each of them being able to strip. And then not only that, it's going to heal an ally by 30% of its HP. So not only will it get us to full health, but it'll strip and it'll cleanse with a 3rd skill. It should work. It should. We do not know, though, if it'll work because we haven't tested it yet. But there's no way for us to test it until we build it. So it's really scary. It's a really big project, but if we can get this to work, that'll be insane, right? And I was thinking about this for the last 2 days. I'm telling you, just the last 2 days, I've been really thinking about it, and I was scared. But you know, I'm a knock first, or shoot first and then ask questions later type of person. So we're gonna do it. We're building them. They have decent runes. Feel free to pause if you want to look at that. I'm not gonna do any extra editing. But then I have to. Tattoo still needs a despair rune energy, but here's how the runes are gonna go down. He's speed, HP, accuracy. I need him to have 100% accuracy. I need them to land their stuff. So he just needs to be fast, tanky, and accurate. The Hemos, pretty much the same thing, but they need to be faster than Sath, I feel like. We don't really care if Sath is the fastest. He just needs to be faster than Tattoo, which he's going to be. She's going to be 126 speed. If we somehow get stuff in the subs, you're talking about maybe 146 at the best. He's going to be well over that. They're going to be faster than him. They're going to obviously be just as tanky, speed, HP, accuracy. And then they're going to be super accurate. Both of them. So, yeah. So that's what we're going to be working on. But, for the time being, there's your update on this 3-star account. It's a really big deal. But, yeah, so this is really scary. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Maybe.